that should work. Just a very short preamble, and then I've got a series of questions that we want to discuss. But to be honest, shout out if there are any other questions you might have. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's first panel on revolutionizing transactions, which is quite a mouthful. In an era where digital landscape is evolving at an unprecedented pace, the way we transact, the way businesses operate, and how consumers engage with financial ecosystems are undergoing significant transformation. Today, and I think everyone will agree out here on the panel, we stand at the cusp of, or probably are already, a new age in digital payments, where innovation not only drives convenience and efficiency, but also shapes the future of global commerce and economic inclusion. So we've got with us on our panel a constellation of leaders and experts who are at the heart of this transformation development. They will share, hopefully, very invaluable insights, no pressure, and experiences on what is propelling the future of payments. I'm hopeful that the discussion will cover a range of opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. So maybe what I will do before we kick off is, can I invite, and Shomit, obviously you've been introduced, but can I ask Kelvin and Sebastian to do a quick intro as well? So Kelvin is Head of Product and Innovation at ICBS. He brings with him years of forward-thinking approaches to payment solutions. But Kelvin, that's the official blur. Introduce yourself properly.
This worked. Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Fabia, for the introduction. So, I'm from ICBS, payments processor, payments enabler, and as you have said, behind the title, so there is a lot of engineering work in the background, where I started out in the setup and implementation of payment systems. As we have moved on, we have adopted new ways of interacting with payments through the various APIs that are now available. And this has taken me to the place of payments innovation. And today I am also a participant in the academic side of things, since I do active research. And it's very interesting to see how technologies are making their way to the payments sector. And I think there is, what is to come is going to be even greater than what we see today.
Excellent. Looking forward to probing your research a little bit. But Sebastian is a dear friend. I know him for the last 3 years, and he's a maverick, if there's one definition of a maverick. Sebastian is one of the founders of Digital Payment Solutions. He's an expert in harnessing technology to help businesses grow and create greater customer engagement. That's me from my heart. But tell us everyone a little bit about you.
Thank you, Baba. I would like also to thank you, Rami, because I guess it's your fault. This photo, I don't know where you have this photo of me, but it was 10 kilos away. I no more look like this guy. And even, the title, Chief Growth Officer, I don't know what it means. I don't know. I grow something. I guess that it is, a kind of maverick guy that you lock into a room and he invents things. And like you, I guess I'm a little bit a sort of coder, engineer. So I guess that my role is to invent, to create, to innovate stuff, hopefully useful, and hopefully that brings money to everybody also, and is useful for SMEs, because today we will speak about SMEs. So you will hear sorry, sometimes you will hear some French and Creole words in my mouth, but I promise that I will try my best to translate everything for you.
Awesome. So let's get going. Kelvin, I'll start with you. Given your role and experience, I think you come across this a lot of times, but could you share some insights on how the global payments ecosystem is evolving? And some thoughts on, what you think are the most promising new digital payment innovations on the horizon that Mauritius would latch on to?
Well, yes, I do come across the question very often. And I think in your introduction, you rightly said that there's now so much going on in the payment sector and on the technological landscape as well. So many players, so many solutions and opportunities available. So to sort of filter through all this and get to the top trends, I find the right way to do it maybe is to be listening to what our customers have to say. So at SPS, we have the privilege of having customers that range from small businesses, fintechs, the small banks, the very large banks. You have non-banking financial institutions, and of course today very innovative enterprises that are rolling out retail devices like smart POSs and other smart devices. So when we look at this, what we see is that the payment industry has grown to this extent, especially through the advent of the different APIs that have become available through the Open Banking Initiative. So the Open Banking Initiative became concretized maybe 5-6 years ago. And since then, we have seen what I would say are great executions of the idea. And this has happened in developed countries, like in the USA. And it's making its way now into the African continent, into Mauritius. So when we see the demand that our clients have for us today, we get a lot of demands, for example, for virtual cards, because of the convenience, because of the costs, and also they are also doing their own research, right? So if you look at the new generation, Gen Z, and you look at the statistics that are available in the US and in Europe and so on, there has been a growth. Last time I looked, from 2020 to last year, it was like an annual growth of 10% every year. So there is a massive adoption of digital forms of payment by the new generation. So that's what we are seeing translated as an increased demand for those virtual cards. And in a certain sense, we went from going to the shop and ruffling through our wallet, if you remember, to find change. And today, with the richness of cards that we have, we find ourselves in a bit of the same situation. And I think digitalization brings a solution to that in terms of convenience, of having all your cards and wallets in your phone. And we have also linked to this, seen an increased demand in tokenization requests. So tokenization, basically to not expose sensitive account information and have the same, or at least the same level of security as with a physical card, but when transacting in a digital medium, through your phone, through wearable, through e-commerce. So this is what we are seeing as a processor today. And I think through digitalization, open banking, tokenization, it's going to create a much more efficient, connected ecosystem that is going to be beneficial to the financial institutions, to the merchants, and of course, not least, to the end customers.
Okay. No, thanks. So what I'm taking away is embedded APIs supported by open banking kind of environments is helping propel digital payments, mainly through virtual cards and tokenization. Right? Those are the kind of like big trends you see, right? Okay, good. So I'm gonna jump over to you then, Mika. So maybe talk us through, building on Kelvin's perspective, right? Can you share how MasterCard is actually leveraging these trends to help businesses and the public at large leverage new payment capabilities to make life easier and help businesses grow?
Hello. Thanks, Fabia. I'll keep it in the English language, by the way. I don't talk API, I don't talk tokenization, I don't talk French. Okay. I love the question, and it's kind of a nice word. Thanks, Fabia. MasterCard, our efforts in the Indian Ocean Islands, particularly Mauritius, actually reflects the way we are reshaping the future of digital payments, digital transactions, right? Of course, leveraging on what Ravin earlier called cutting-edge innovation, but most importantly, strategic partnerships. I'll try to remain in the same sense as Kelvin, where he talks about, what is the current demand, where we're seeing a demand for virtual cards. When we talk about tokenization, I think it's more like, a dynamic processing way of payment so that, it increases security. Where I'm coming from is a couple of things. One, also I agree with Kelvin that virtual cards, your mobile phone is the way forward. Today, I forget my mobile phone at home, actually go back to pick it up because I've got everything there. Second part of it is when we think about Mauritius, for instance, just to keep it here, very close to us, we have a huge bank population in terms of individuals. And we have a fantastic rate of smartphone penetration. So there's no reason why we can't leverage on these technologies with this environment to make it happen just like in Europe and all these sophisticated markets where your card is actually on your phone. You open your phone, you tap and pay, and you go. And fantastically, and I think that's amazing, if you look at all the POS in Mauritius, they're already contactless. Today, we have seen this shift of customer behavior using their cards, their physical cards, to tap and go. That's touchless. I think the pandemic has taught us a lot. Now, coming back to a few points of my own in terms of what we are doing as MasterCard in the region and in Mauritius. So I take, for instance, we launched Simplify with the largest bank. What does Simplify mean? It's a platform that enables small businesses to become digitalized. So it digitalizes their operations and help them in that journey. And I think ICPS knows this very well because they are pretty much the backbone of the processing behind it. Two, with Bank One, we come up with a different proposition where we're catering for the mass affluent market, premium services. So what I'm trying to say here, I'm giving you examples of where MasterCard and our strategic partnerships are actually catering for the different needs of the market. And finally, just recently we've activated our payment gateway for enabling merchants to be able to accept cards much more seamlessly online. And believe me, the pandemic taught us a big lesson. And I'm a huge fan of Sebastian, by the way, when, especially during the pandemic, when he launched, I'm not taking the limelight off you, Sebastian, but I really think that's a lesson that everybody, and it's a case study, right? When you think when MIPS was online, creating a bit of a quasi-marketplace, enabling payment to be happening contactlessly everywhere, online. That was what was required during the pandemic. So what I mean by this is all the industry players in the bank, in the be it the fintech, or be it the technology providers behind it, we are all kind of adapting to the situation, to the environment, and to what our customer is looking for. Looking ahead, 3 keywords for me. 1, artificial intelligence. 2, blockchain. And 3, biometric. I think that's going to be really the big future, everybody. Artificial intelligence is creating an environment where we can now leverage on that technology to do a lot of data analytics, decrease fraud, understand patterns, right, in behavior, and really suggesting. I don't know how many of you have seen the clip where, this guy says Google, what's the Google name? When you say Google, hi Google, do this, do that, right? And then he goes to his dentist, and the next thing is like, his voice is totally muffled, so he can't work, right? But guess what? What we're seeing is AI, it's really becoming more effective than that. It's not a joke about it, it's really about your convenience of your everyday life. So I feel this is where we are trying to take payment to as well. Analyzing, the data behind it, understanding what is value to every day, what would make sense to it, and we suggest a predictive approach. Second part of it is the blockchain part. Blockchain being decentralized in nature itself, it actually creates an environment where we can have increased security, more transparency, and really, it's. I recall about 3 years back, and I think you would know this well, about 3 years back, HSBC did the first large blockchain transaction, right?
Trade.
And I think since then it's moved on big time. We're seeing a lot of new fintechs being licensed by the regulator these days. Like likes of Index talk about digitalization of, custody of digital assets and things like that. All this sounds great to us, but guess what? It has to start somewhere. I remember 10 years back, everybody was talking about Bitcoin. Would that happen today? It's actually investment itself. The third part, one is like I said, the biometric part. What does biometric offers is, it actually ascertains the rightful owner of the transaction. So for me, that's amazing. I feel a lot of government, a lot of policymakers are working in the right direction to create a safe and convenient environment with convenience being really at the forefront of all this technological innovation. I'll actually close out on probably 5 last quick points, from us in terms of MasterCard. See, we'll continue to invest in our strategic partnership because that's where we make a bigger impact in the market. I keep thinking and believing that a strategic partner understands the local market better than we as a global player. Especially in places like Madagascar, Sebastian, we go there and it's a totally different world. Where bank population, guys, is less than 10%. You go to a place like Seychelles, 90,000 people population, yet high GDP. You come back to Mauritius, excellent technological penetration, yet we seem to be slow in adopting a technological behavior like tap on food, like using contactless payments, feeding trust. So these strategic partners bring us the trustworthiness that is required in the market. So, like Bank One, even MIP, when we started on these, today I think everybody knows me. I have no problem in using your system at the petrol pump, everywhere actually, everywhere. These are sort of things that really we feel about how important strategic partners bring to us. The second part is, I think really from a MasterCard perspective, is actually investing in not only the technology part of it, but the digital journey itself, making the customer experience kind of objective that we need to get. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's correct. But I just realized that before the event organizers kind of prematurely end us, Sebastian, you have 5 minutes to answer your question.
We'll take 2.
So obviously, you've heard a lot about global payment trends, right? And Shomika was throwing in all the big words you could think of: AI, blockchain, biometric. But I think then the nub of it probably was around how do you then leverage those with strategic partners to help the economy, bring it to life, because you actually work with SMEs, right? So with all this fancy stuff going on, give us a few examples of how can SMEs leverage them to actually grow and help the community.
5 minutes. Thank you. In fact, they don't have any choice. I have one expression that I really like. I hope I invented it, but apparently I didn't invent this expression. It is digital Darwinism. Digital Darwinism. They don't have a choice, the SMEs, to go digital. We are talking about digital payments here. And being on the field, means being on the field, especially with SMEs, I can say, I will explain why later in 4 minutes now, they already made their choice, in fact. Perhaps everybody knows here, just a quick figure, there is around people who are not agree on the figures, around 100,000 or 150,000 SMEs or self-employed in Mauritius. There's a lot. Do you know how much of them are digitally equipped to take a payment? Henry, do you know?
I don't know.
You don't. I will tell you. 20,000 only. 20,000 equipped, upon 100 or 150, upon a lot. And often we pinpoint them with our finger, you evil SME, you don't want to go digital because you like cash. You do not want, a micro is censoring me. You do not want to pay tax. Huh? You want to make tax efficient. You want to be tax efficient, so you don't accept the digital payment. Or worse, you are not enough digitally literate. You don't know computers, so you won't be able to manipulate the POS, for example. But I guess that part of it, of course, I'm part of. Ah là là, censure est fini. Non, mais ouais, toi aussi, tout le monde pourra sauter d'accord. And okay, there's part of truth in it. But I guess that it is also a pretext for some old legacy financial institutions, a pretext to hide their failure to equip those merchants efficiently. I will take an example. We are actually at MIPS having a campaign which is called Kasdanta, Patasorkas. So this is when I try to translate that for you. And with Kasdanta, Patasorkas means roughly do not stuck with cash and Mozaroli. No, this is also Creole. Well, it's go for it. Voilà, Patasorkas. And in fact, our goal is to onboard 2,000 merchants in 6 months. 2,000 in 6 months. And you know what? They are willing to, because we came with affordable solutions for these merchants, with the pay stations, which is a POS, in fact, affordable solutions, and also we were talking about AI, with a convenient way to onboard them, so that it does not take 20 papers to sign, etc., to onboard them. And they are willing to onboard. Some of them want to be tax efficient. Okay, you can be tax efficient and keep your cash, but others want to onboard. As a matter of example, I have 2 really Mauritian examples that for me is very, comment tu parles en anglais? Very parlant. You speak English? Impactful. C'est bien. We onboarded 4 taxi. Censor? No? Right. We onboarded 4 taxi drivers and 4 Dalpuri. Dalpuri is a Mauritian. You know Dalpuri?
Dalpuri is Indian.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I'm the wrong part.
Yeah. But the Mauritian Valkyrie, it's better than the Mauritian man. And these two kinds of merchants were the kingdom of cash. They were not operating with cards. And now we have taxi merchants and taxi drivers who are operating with credit cards. They want to, because they realize, I guess, that, and this is what I was explaining 4 minutes ago, 5 minutes now, Jerry. Okay.
I can translate Jerry.
Jerry, not Jerry.
They understood the competitive advantage to address their market, their clients, who wants to be cashless or cashlight. I don't want to have cash on me. And it is now a competitive advantage for the SMEs to go cashlight. And last 30 seconds, Jenny. That's correct. I see you on the starting block. 30 last seconds. I don't think that SMEs in Mauritius wants to do big business to do tax efficient. They want to do business to earn their money. And if they see that the POS, digital means of payment, is making a competitive advantage for them, they just go to it. Up to us, the financial institutions, MasterCard, Limits, to 10 seconds to address their need. Did I answer your question, Badia?
You did. Brilliantly.
Brilliantly.
And you know what? I can relate to that because the other example I would give is in India, the UPI payment system was launched about 9 years ago now. And in that 9 years, it now accounts for about 17 to 18% of actual individual kind of payments across the country, right? Which is huge growth within 9 years. And when it was launched, everybody complained about the fact that how will a little vendor in a tiny little village ever use something like that? But guess what? Everyone was proven wrong. Now, in fact, a lot of vendors don't accept cash at all because of the convenience of digital payments, right? And the two things that made a difference are actually the three things that made the biggest difference was number one, the government and the policymakers created an infrastructure that was robust, scalable, free, etc. Right? And it's very important. It's almost the basic condition that is needed. And then once that was in place, we had fintechs being able to offer great pricing and very easy to onboard. Both the stuff you actually mentioned, right? And I think if you've got those three criteria, then there's no reason why digital payments can't transform lives. So thanks. That was lovely. Do we have time?
Another 5 minutes.
Another 5 minutes. So here's a question for all three of you, but you all have 1 minute each. One of the things I've heard, certainly in Mauritius, about adoption of digital payments is fear about security, etc. Right? That's a theme that's always emerged. And obviously, in a world of increasing cybercrime and AI and everything else, that fear probably exacerbates, right? So in that context, if you came across an SME who would value digital payments, but is reticent because of fear of loss, how would you address that? Maybe I'll start with you.
Okay, so I'll be quick and
1 minute.
Yeah. So with AI, I think we only hear the negative stuff. So I want to shed a bit of positive light on it. You see, AI also has its applications today in terms of fraud detection and prevention, better KYC. I think that's the first demonstration upon. And better credit scoring and so on and so forth. Yeah. So there are so many advantages, and I think it can be a very great protective force against fraud. At the end of the day, I don't think it's a question of AI really. It's more of a technological arms race. You're trying to arm yourself. Your opponent, the hackers, are trying to arm themselves. And you just need to be sure that you have adopted, that you are aware of AI-enhanced solutions that you're going to adopt in order to protect your organization, your customers. So I think it boils down to this.
Okay. So, Nick, I'm going to come to you, and I'll just pressure test what Kelvin was saying. The normal Dalpuri guy doesn't understand AI and how to leverage it, right? I have no understanding. So yes, that is a solution, but how do you explain it to him?
Excellent question. This is where I think the strategic alliances, the brand reputation makes a big difference. When we talk about financial inclusion on one side and on the other side, financial literacy, there needs to be first an understanding of the market. Why? Where is the fraud coming? What are the risks associated with it? I echo Kelvin in terms of using AI technology to prevent this, but there's only until a certain limit that you can prevent this. And this is where I find partners like Bank One, educating the market. And I heard Sebastian also talking about this when he goes to the Master Gallery. He's telling him, hey, I know you're not technological savvy, but this is how you use it. It's simple, it's easy, right? But he reassures the merchant, right? So there are two sides to it. There's the merchant and there's the customer. So usage is also extremely important. Trust in the brand, trust in the technology is super important. That's where we all collectively make the difference in the market. I think that's the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is there's a bit of push and pull, right? If the users can demand access to a QR, let's say, instead of cash, and then the pull would be the merchant then saying that, yeah, I want that. Okay. Then what's your view on that, Sebastian?
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. I don't think that the SMEs shall be confronted, shall be facing the problematics of AI or these big fancy words, API. Our machine is called a base station. This is a base station. It can take money, it can take money, and that's it. Look, everybody is using that. There is Mastercard behind, there is Bank One or ICBS. No, he don't even want to know who is ICBS. He just wants to know that, okay, I will have my money. And by experiment, I think that there's a dichotomy. That's a nice word, dichotomy. That's an English word?
Not bad.
Yeah, well, dichotomy. I think that people are really afraid about their personal identity. You were talking about biometrics. I feel, my gut feelings are that in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you won't you won't identify or authenticate yourself with what you have on you or what you know. You will identify yourself and you will build something with yourself, with what you are. I see no problem into that. I understand people who sees problem into that, but I guess that there will be a big clash when it will happen, because you can insert your card and put your PIN. Now you can just touch with a phone, but I guess that the real debate will come where you will just put your finger to pay. For example, your
biometric aspect.
Biometrics.
Yeah. Okay. Look, we'll wrap up. Thank you very much. That was very insightful. If I were to kind of like summarize a few points that I certainly took away, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of things that we should discuss later on, is that there is a lot happening within the digital payment space. Kelvin talked a lot about some of the key industry trends. International kind of card schemes like MasterCard are building on those to make sure that they are available primarily through strategic partners. But we heard AI, blockchain, biometric, etc. as being key drivers of the future. But all of that is frankly in the background. Ultimately, what matters for the SME that we are trying to serve is having a very simple onboarding journey, a cheap solution that they can trust. And if that happens, it will create the push and pull to really propel Mauritius into hopefully a cashless society at some point, right? Great. We'll wrap up on that because we are running late and pass it on to you.